Hello folks and welcome to Wobbly Player Syndrome episode 19. Almost forgot. Yeah, brilliant start to the game. It is a Tuesday instead of a Monday. We got excited with our hobby progress that we've booked ourselves for a hobby night and a podcast. And apparently hobbying is more important than me rambling in front of a microphone. So here we are. We have two of our usual folks. We have Mark on my left.
Hey.
The enthusiastic one, you can tell. The massive beard man. The massive beard? No, the bearded man. That's what I'm trying to say. He's got one of his new shirts on, it looks like.
Remember Cadia?
No. It's Michael!
Hey!
And of course, my annoying voice is Greg. Now, it is only the three of us tonight. What's going on there? What's going on? Tuesday night, nobody can be on.
I guess everyone's just too good for it.
You're saying we're scraping the barrel, that's why we're here? Careful.
This is my break night.
This is break night. Well, this episode is... we sort of hinted at it last episode on the our slow grow events and other events we've had. I just realised there's a big fingerprint on my glasses, which is really useful for the podcast listeners. I can't see. That we're talking about organised events. For us, it's the do's and don'ts of disorganised events, because we're really good at stuff like that. Actually, this year is probably the first year I've stepped away from trying to organise anything more than any other year. And look how well it's gone.
Well, how it's gone is we've had a lovely game, and we've all played some nice games. Everyone left it all on the field, gave 110%.
Well, to be honest, though, I mean, we have gotten a fair few games going this year.
Yeah, we have. We've played a few games, which is good. But, yeah, we should save that talk. That's our main topic. We've got to bring them in. Drag
Giving it away
them
for
in.
free!
You can't do that. There's sponsors, there's ramblings, there's battle reports, there's more ramblings.
So why don't we start with our new stuff?
All right.
New stuff.
Hey, Michael,
new releases.
what's new?
Yeah. Well, actually, I was surprised by how little stuff there was this month. I felt like there was more, but then there wasn't. So first up, probably the weirdest one, Aeronautica Imperialis.
Yeah, that snuck
Are you
up.
guys interested in that?
Yes, I am, because I really enjoyed Wings of Glory, and I thought, ooh, a 40k version? That could get me.
I sort of saw it, and I was like, so what, is this like the Speed Freaks, but like aeroplanes, or...
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for a change of pace, I haven't actually bought this one yet. It's just because I'm
Okay.
like, no one I know is going to play that.
And for the podcasters, I got my hand up.
So...
that actually got me interested. And then I started reading the rules and going, okay, you seem to have made it more complicated than it really needed to be. Good.
Are you familiar with Games Workshop?
Well, have you seen the new coming soon? Is the new pocket-sized rulebook?
Pocket-sized rulebook?
Yeah, the condensed version, basically without all the fluff.
I just hope that they actually update it with like
All
the
the
latest
erratas?
chapter approved and that, because
man.
I get the impression that this will just be like
The 8
A
pages
mini
from the
version
main
of the
book at the
rulebook.
moment.
Man, if
Yeah.
they release like a 7th edition starter set sized rulebook that includes all of the up-to-date errata and stuff for the main rules and changes to detachments,
Yeah.
and all of that bullshit has come through over the FAQs and chapter approved, I will bust so many nuts. It'll be like a fucking macadamia tree in here.
No, it'd be good.
Yeah, but if they don't, then it's just like why bother?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's just going to be like, here's those fucking couple of pages from the other book in a pamphlet, that's a waste of everyone's time.
Well, it's a book, so it's no pop-ups, which could be actually exciting.
Well, I mean, if it's going to be a book and it's supposed to be like all rules, then surely they've put all the extra stuff in there.
Well, I just thought if they made the
Yeah.
electronic book, that's where they should be putting it, so the electronic book can be updated on a regular basis. Just, type, upload.
True, but then you don't have a physical book. And how can you throw the book at someone if it's a
I'll
tablet?
throw my freaking laptop at him, that's how.
Yeah, but then you don't buy a new
Mac,
laptop.
like iPad.
I'll throw their
Gen
laptop
1.
at them, that's how.
Whack!
And
I
make sure it's
carve all my FAQs from slate so that I can really throw the fucking book at you.
That's it. Oh, we lost your camera, Michael.
I've still got my camera.
I can see his camera.
It's right there.
Oh, funny. I've got a little icon of you
Right.
in a lovely
sort
knight's
of-
outfit.
There.
In a lovely night. Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, there he is.
That's weird.
And that was
Beep, boop.
thrilling viewing for your listeners.
Because everything else that I've seen from the new releases was just all teasers about
No, how did you not
codex
talk about
supplements and stuff.
Oh, no,
Raven?
There's been... we just got distracted by Aeronautica.
Yeah,
we
we
haven't got to the other stuff
Yeah,
yet.
good.
So, yeah, Codex supplement, Raven Guard.
Yeah!
Obviously. There's been a Raven Guard Primaris upgrade sprue, which has come out at the same time. They Primarisified Kavan Shrike, and he's the chapter master now, not just the first captain,
Well, yeah,
which is
indeed stuff.
interesting. He got a promotion. Apparently, his boss died.
And an emo haircut.
Yeah, but to be honest, we all knew that haircut was under there the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
why it was a
heard,
beaky helmet, just to get all the hair in.
yeah, I heard that people are already planning their mods for beaky heads.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
So yeah, we got that. We got Codex supplement Iron Hands, and all of the power mongering competitive list douchebags have busted their nuts over the new Iron Hands rules. We got the Iron Hands upgrade sprue, because Iron Hands upgrade sprues are always cool.
Yeah,
I
they
just
do
love
look
one of
cool.
those.
Yeah.
Some new tech marine douchebag Primaris called Pharos.
Yeah.
Did he used to be a character, or is he new? I feel like he's
I
new.
don't know. I feel he's new too because I'm not familiar, but I'm not familiar very well with the Iron Hands. So I don't know.
They didn't used to have a character called Pharos. I don't know if he's from their fluff or something, because I don't care about their books. So, poor Iron Hands. I have an Iron Hands army. It's just not very big. Eliminators. The Eliminators came out.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to cry.
Yeah.
So many Eliminators.
That is $84
So
now
for three,
actually-
though. $84 for three.
Hey.
I don't think you see that many on the field.
I own 9 of them now.
See, told you.
He bought them all.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, well,
sold out due to.
The ones in Shadowsphere didn't come with the stupid gun on the captain from memory, on the sergeant from memory. And the new box comes with the 2 different loadouts, so you can give them the crazy anti-material rifles.
No, right.
Yeah, they can have like their crazy sniper rifles with their crazy sniper ammunition, or they can take like these strength 8 bullshit guns.
Aren't all Primarch weapons bullshit guns?
I cannot tell a lie, so I won't. They also released a Primaris Lieutenant in Phobos armor,
Yep.
who's
He's
pretty
doing a
cool.
bit of a
Is
jig.
it just me, or is there always a Primaris Lieutenant
There is-
being
there
released
will
every
always
other
be
month?
a Primaris Lieutenant. They took their cue from Blizzard. There will always be a Lich King. There will always be a Primaris Lieutenant.
I honestly lost count how many variants of that guy is out there.
So many fucking lieutenants. Like, holy shit.
You love it.
There was a Warcry expansion pack came out. Monsters and
Yeah.
Mercenaries.
There just seems to be a lot of. Was Lieutenant an elite? Or yeah, he's an elite, isn't he? Sorry, sidetracked.
Lieutenants are HQ.
They are HQ.
You can get 2 of them for once. Yeah.
Hmm.
We also got Gotrek Gurnison. Turns out he survived the destruction of the Warhammer world,
It's pretty
which was
clever.
a thing.
Right?
Yeah,
so
well,
he should've.
he's you know why he survived? Because he didn't want to.
Yeah,
Why he survived?
that's how it works for him.
Because nothing ever goes right for him. He's like, finally, I have died my glorious death, and now he's back, and he's like, fucking hell!
Bastards!
He's really, really bad at getting killed.
He is the worst slayer ever.
He is. He is. but he's the best at it. What?
I
No,
was
that's six.
wondering how it would go where his god was like one of the few ones who survived to the New World and then got killed. It's like, I wonder if that means Gotrek will be back. And there we go. He is. There was a bunch of books as well of various things. There's a book about Call, which I'm tempted to buy because I'd be interested to see what Call's doing now.
Did he escape? I thought he stayed. No, I'm thinking somebody
I
else.
still don't have your camera, by
Yes.
the way, Michael. I don't know what's going on there.
Really? I've still got no camera? What the
Yeah.
fuck's going on there?
I don't know. And just to be clear, there are only 2 Primaris lieutenants. Models.
That's a flagrant lie.
Well, I'm on the site right now. Space Marines HQ, Phobos armor with power sword. There's a captain.
Yeah,
of Phobos.
there are 2 entries, but there's like 12 models for that guy.
Yeah, because every time they have like Warhammer World, there's a new lieutenant you can get it, and there was a new lieutenant in like half the White Dwarves, and there was a new lieutenant because it was Thursday. You know,
But
There's
like,
a
according to
special
that
Ultramarines
site,
lieutenant
I'm just
in Conquest.
saying.
There's the Dark Angel lieutenant. There's a Blood Angel lieutenant, isn't there? There's a Space Wolf lieutenant.
Is there?
There's the special limited edition lieutenant that came with that they just released.
Oh, that-
actually,
was
that was
that
from one of
Games Day or
the box
something like
sets.
that?
But it's not limited edition anymore. There's been so many.
I'm
fucking
waiting for Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
I'm sure one of them's called Dan.
If not, it will be.
Any model where you lose half of it. Is put down, well, I guess it's the upper half. You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Iron hands.
Oh, no, iron hands.
Iron
that's it.
hands.
Yeah, something
He
like
had
that.
metal legs. Come on.
So yeah, okay. Yeah. It was Warcry. It seems, I don't know, with those Underworld and Warcry, they're coming out with expansions very quickly.
Yeah, I was surprised by how quickly the Warcry expansion has come out. I haven't even opened my Warcry box yet, and there's already an expansion. And Beastgrave is coming out for bloody Warhammer Underworlds, so
Yeah.
they're doing another one of those.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, good luck trying to keep
It
up.
must be doing well, surely. If it's getting this many releases, it must be doing well.
Or they keep
You'd
trying.
like
And Christmas is coming.
True.
Yeah.
Well, that is the question. Is it doing well, or are they just like trying to make it do well?
Yeah.
Who can tell? There seems to be like leagues and stuff playing at the GW, so I assume it's doing okay.
Yeah, I think there's competitive stuff out there with it. I think that's where that's the success. Like at games events and stuff, there's a competitive part of that. Because, 5-man squad. Build it, play it, destroy it, use a hammer.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's good that it's doing well, I guess, because it does provide a low barrier of entry to the Age of Sigmar. You can just buy one warband and play with your friend who has the base game.
Yeah.
As opposed to needing to buy an entire fucking army. So, yeah, it's got a good spot in the hobby.
Yeah.
So I guess it's good if it does well. I just don't dig hyper-competitive fucking skirmish games.
I kind of like it. The thought of it, it's sort of more of a game night. Yeah, we'll have a game night and throw that down.
I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
I took one look at the game and was like, oh, the community for that is not going to be a thing I'm going to want to be part of. And then I got into a conversation about it at the Games Workshop, and I was like, I have chosen wisely.
Folks, thank you for bearing with our technical issues. If you hadn't watched us before and you hadn't seen a technical issue before, this is normal. You made a little emote.
So was that
exciting.
it? Was that it?
That was all of the new releases.
Yeah, but there are some
Awesome.
exciting stuff coming because I've been arming and eyeing what army I would like to build. Do I build something new? Should I rebuild salamanders? And then they hinted at something. And what did I do? I squealed like a little schoolgirl. It was exciting. But again, that looks.
I guess, yeah,
Yeah, go on.
yeah. There was the elephant in the room. We didn't mention the Salamander's character.
Well,
That's because he's not
he's not
released
out
yet.
Yes.
And I was like, if I talk about him now, I won't be able to talk about him next month. Or will I talk about him both times?
Oh
Well,
it's Salamander.
We
He's
can
worth
say that
talking
he's
about all the
coming,
time.
and then next time he'll be there.
So yes, it does look like the next expansions, no expansions, what are they called?
Well,
Supplements.
yeah,
will be,
Salamanders and
an
Imperial
Imperial
Fists.
Fist. But that Salamander guy looks so nice.
I'm not a huge fan of the Imperial Fist guy. I think it could just be a really shitty camera
I think that,
angle, though, but he looks goofy.
but the picture of him, right?
Yeah, the picture looks
awful. That's the
I'm
best
hoping
expression
the model
ever.
looks a lot better in person because they have bad photographers.
Yeah, because that expression is just brilliant. On the actual artwork, not the actual model itself. The artwork is just... I find it hilarious. So I'm going to make that noise. Yeah. So, okay, so new releases were done. Good, fabulous. We all enjoyed that,
Yep.
boys and girls? Good, good, yeah. Right, what do we do next? We talk about...
Hobbies.
Hobby progress. Mark, you were fiddling with bits earlier. How's your hobby progress going?
Yes. Not like I've got a lot of models built, but not a lot painted in the last while. So I built my zoanthropes and I painted some of them, and they're kind of shadowy at the moment, but they're getting there. I've got 2 Carnifexes built and ready for undercoating, and I'm currently building like a jillion Gene Stealers, which is slowly crushing my soul. And that's probably about it for this month.
We had hobby night last night. You would have done some stuff then, right?
Most of the stuff I've just shown you was from last night.
Okay. Michael, how goes you? Because you've been the only one who's actually regularly updating our site with the progress you're doing.
Yes, I have been trying to go out of my way to take regular pictures and put them up there. This month I've nearly finished the second Goliath truck, so I already did the first one. Did the squad for that first Goliath truck earlier on. Probably halfway through the fucking big unit of shotgunners that I've got. And I'm looking forward to next month's allotment of models, which is a single Lehman Russ and a Primus. So that'll be much easier to paint.
Nice. I'm going to pause. We're going to have a little bit of a break there so I can edit it later. But I've lost all cameras. I stopped fiddling and I've had a drink from our sponsor, Capital Brewery.
So how about you, Greg? What have you done this month?
I actually had a hobby progress. Yeah!
Yay!
Yeah! Oh, that was it. No. I did. There was a lot more building than painting, but I did add some Drakari Scourges, which who did I play against? Steve Parker, the other one. And he found out how much they're fun. 4 Haywire Blasters that do mortal wounds if I roll a 4 when I roll a wound, whether it wounds you or not.
Oof.
Yeah, and I rolled 3 6s, which is the 3 mortal wounds plus the wounds they do. They were fun.
That sounds pretty rough.
Yeah. Michael, I got you next.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it works in vehicles.
Joke's on you.
Yeah.
I don't rely too hard on the vehicles. So.
Well, yeah, we'll go into the slow grow stuff. So I built them. I built some more witches, some more venom, and I'm actually ahead of schedule in the building phase of the slow grow. I've got a raider to build next, and then the last month's worth of stuff to build, which is good. And I actually got some painting done. I've joined in the hobby progress last night, and oh my god. So I was doing edge highlighting and it was just taking forever and stuff like that. So most of it last night was looking at what I did and what time I spent. I went, oh man, this is crap. Today I had a revelation. I'm going to try contrast paint to try and speed this up because otherwise I'll never catch up.
Mm-hmm.
So I sprayed some of the grey. What is it? It's not Corex grey. What is the other one? Whatever contrast spray.
Wraith Seer, whatever it's
That
called.
one?
Wraithbone is the warmer one.
Wraith Seer and Wraithbone.
Yeah.
Wraith Seer. Wraith Seer and Greybone.
Yeah, there's a grey bone for you.
Brain.
So did that. They got the black contrast, the red contrast, and the dark elf skin contrast. Went, all right, let's see if it works. And with less than an hour, I had 5 models looking pretty smick. I went, holy crap, that's so much easier. Oh, I gotta gotta get these painted! And they look decent too.
I'm totally hitting all these gene stealers with contrast because otherwise I will be painting forever.
Yeah. The vehicles will still need to be painted as normal because there's too many flat surfaces. But foot troops, they're just going to be smashed out with the contrast. And hopefully, when I play you, Michael, I'll actually have all my infantry painted.
Nice.
Yeah. Don't rush me.
Congratulations.
What is that, 3 weeks? 2 weeks? Tomorrow? Fuck. Yeah, so that's my hobby progress.
I might have a fully painted army by then, yeah.
Yeah. I ran out of magnets, so I've got one Venom that doesn't have a stand or guns at the moment. Ah, god dang it! So,
Trick is not using magnets at all.
there's too many flyers. They need them because on off. On off. It's good. So that was my hobby progress. I had stuff to input for this month. It was very exciting. I might need a moment. I need to calm down. What else? What do we do? We talk about battle reports. Or slow grow. Or both.
We got a bit of both.
Bit of both?
We got everything. All the things. We can talk about this for so long.
Battle reports it is. Well, Mark. I'm saying Mark first because you've got the big picture at the moment out of all of us. Your head is proportionally bigger than ours.
I see.
Yes. You are wise and mighty. You must have the words of wisdom.
Wise and mighty. This is where I open with the battle report that I lost.
Yeah!
So, that was round 6 of the slow grow.
Now, explain what the slow grow scenario was this time, because it was different.
So we had this. We had a scenario where there's like a sun marker, and whoever's closest to it gets mortal wounds, and anyone shooting towards the sun gets like hit penalties and stuff. And
it wasn't even towards the sun. It was if your target was closer to the sun marker than you were.
Well,
even if you weren't pointing towards it,
correct.
If they were closer, you were fucked.
We had that.
That was the wording.
Yeah. So we had that too. It'd be in line with each other, but it'd be that 1 inch.
This is where I point out that we completely forgot about the whole sun marker thing and just completely we didn't remember it until like turn 3 or 4, and then we were like, we're mostly dead now. This makes no difference. We'll just play. We'll just play as we have.
It made a massive fucking difference in my game.
Yeah, same.
It probably would have made a massive difference given that Anto actually had shooting.
Yeah.
So
that was kind of it. I had shooting.
it quite possibly did lead to my loss, but it was fun. So yeah, there was swarms of gene stealers and a Gant bomb that seemed to genuinely terrify Anto. Which is odd considering he has a Tyranid army and should be aware of these tactics. So
that's why he was terrified.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I fought valiantly, but lost and just barely survived by the end of the game. So
that's just they're getting a few wins.
Yeah. So they hit really hard.
Oh, they're hotshot las guns. How good are they?
Yeah, I was actually more worried about those than like bolters from Marines.
They don't have the range. It's only 18 each, but they hurt. When they hit you, you go, "Ow, that's a hole."
Well, and I have paper thin armor, so like any AP just remove stuff.
You got paper thin armor.
Yeah, that's what he said, Michael. Yes.
I call the 6+ save paper thin.
Yeah. I'd say mine is thin, but we just have a 6+ invulnerable versus shooting.
Well, yeah. When your whole army's toughness 3 with shit all armor, things are bad.
Makes it tough.
You just have to have more bodies.
That's it, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say I've changed my slow grow army so it's got more bodies than it did at the start. Yeah.
That was pretty much my change for this 250 points was like, more bodies, please. Buy more bodies on there.
Well, I'm going to get a Raiden X, and I'll probably get another Venom, and I go, oh, hang on, it's the Gravity one. I'm going to get Witches next. I'm going to get...
Yeah. So that's my game. How about you guys?
Well, you pick one. Pick one!
All right, fine. So my slow grower game, actually, it started off really well for me because there was 5 objectives, 1 in each deployment zone, and the other 3 were in the middle. And at the start of the game, you rolled to see how much they were worth, and mine rolled a 6, and none of the other objectives rolled a 6. So I was like, well, I just have to hold this, and then you're fucked. So I pretty much was like, I'm going to hold this, and you're fucked. That was kind of how the game went.
Oh, dear. The sun played part of it all?
The sun was an absolute pain in the ass because a lot of the time I'm hitting on like 5s anyway.
Yeah.
So then I was hitting on 6s. Good times. I kept joking at the start of the game that my trucks that my guys use as transports are basically orcs. And then I spent a lot of time needing 6s to hit as well. So I was like, it turns out we just are orcs.
Well, yeah, purple orcs are sneaky. So.
Yeah, well, we were orange, but yeah.
No.
But yeah, like, yeah, it just didn't go well for him because he was demon, so he didn't have a lot of shooting, so he was running down the length of the table to get to me. And I was just like, well, I've got a bunch of guns. I'm not going to run to you. I'm just going to shoot you.
Yeah.
And I shot him a lot.
Yeah, when I played that Demon Army, I didn't realise how much the Screamers eat your face. And I just charged him, rapid fire. And you're going, why aren't you shooting at me when I charge you? I don't understand. Well, I don't have any shooting. Oh, this should be a quick game. Yes.
Am I playing, Paul?
Please?
I'm not. That's not fair.
Oh, so now you want to extend it to December?
No.
There was a lot of luck around.
I'll just call him out.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. Like, I just had some good luck, and then I just really capitalized on that good luck.
Yeah.
And that kind of was the game.
Fair enough. Well, my Sluggo game was against Marines, which I thought...
It's always Marines.
Yeah, Ultramarines. I thought, it's going to hurt because there's a whole lot of witches with no AP weapons that are strength. Well, actually, because they are poisoned, it was always going to be a 4+, and I was hoping it didn't have many vehicles because that would stuff me. I had the sun start in my deployment, which hit my jet. I can't think what it's called. It's not the bomber. The other one, the jet. I hit it for D3 mortal wounds. Okay, that would be 3 mortal wounds. Awesome. The jet flew off into the distance, and the sun came back and hit the same corner and did another D3 wounds on the frickin' jet. It moved again. And guess where the sun went? That's right.
Oh, you got a victory point. Did you get a victory point?
No, it didn't die.
Jet?
It was on one victory. One wound. By the end of the game, it was on one wound.
I was wondering if anyone would score that.
Hey, well, think of it this way, though. He's technically following proper fighter tactics by always having the sun behind him.
Having the sun at his back.
True.
It's just hard when there's 4 suns. You got to put in real effort to keep the sun to your back.
Yeah, if it weren't more turn, I would have flown over and sun would have followed. But I had the advantage of, I was always basically had the sun behind me, so I survived longer than I probably should against Primaris Marines when I've got, no armour. 6+ invulnerable sounds great, except when it doesn't. Yeah.
Well, having that 2-hit penalty really does make a difference.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Because my Hive Tyrant lasted... He absorbed insane amounts of firepower from the Militarum.
Yeah.
And,
well, here,
like...
The Phobos armor. I think it's the Phobos one. That's the -1 to hit anyway. So it became a -2 to hit. And so, I was having to roll 6s at times and stuff to try and hit them. And then, 4 to wound. Yeah, no AP. Excellent. Yeah, it hurts. It's the witches are an unforgiving army. But yeah, we'll keep going. So I didn't
I know
win
the
that
feeling.
game. I actually only lost by 2 points in the end because I captured. There was one marker that was worth 6. So I went, "Yep, I'm sitting on this. Move me, bitch!" And they tried.
I only won by 3 points because I tabled him.
I almost got tabled. I was going, "Oh, kill my fighter, please," because then I could just go run at you and kill me, kill me.
Kill me! I need the points.
I'm out here, kill me.
Come on,
Do
do
it.
it.
So that was a slow grow, another loss. But apparently, well, you'll talk about the tables later, which the point system is just screwy. But I'll benefit, so I'll be quiet. But we did have another tournament as well, which was the kind of the one of the reasons why we're bringing this tournament things up, which is the 2 up tourney. So 2v2, 1,000 points each army, so 2,000 point battles. We had to play 2 games in one afternoon. I paired up with Rob, so I was already at a disadvantage. Time management is not his skill.
Yeah, you were kind of riding his back to try and speed him up.
Yeah.
I mean, we were really up against even if we were all playing really efficiently, we were going to be running into time issues.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not we're not trying to criticize him. It's just he takes time to play because he's still kind of getting to grips with everything.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
And we were in a hurry.
Yeah, there was a time, and people said, "No, we don't need a timer on it." Like, no, I think we need a timer on it. But we'll talk about the do's and don'ts of disorganized events later. But we did not do well. Did we win a game? No, we drew. It was a no result for one game because we didn't finish turn 3, and we lost the other game. So, it was you. No result because we only got to turn 3, Michael. I'm pointing.
No.
All the podcasters can listen. No, it was Steve and Steve.
We won.
Yeah, you won against us. And Steve and Steve, we didn't get to finish. We had to finish. What did I say? Turn 4 as a minimum.
Okay.
Yeah, and we only got to 3. So they were in front at the time, but I actually felt that we would have come good because we pretty much smashed the Space Wolves, and it was just Space Wolves, and it was just the Desert Lions force that would come in because. Oh yeah, that's right.
The Ultramarine. It was Ultramarines and Desert Lions.
Yeah, so you were
the Space Wolves were with me.
You were Dark Angel Space Wolves. Yeah. I felt that we demolished one side. We only have to look after the other one. We had heavy casualties. Don't get me wrong, but I felt we could have made a fist of it anyway. Stop it. But yeah, and you played 2 games. 2 different games. One beating me and one laughing at the other people. I don't know.
Well, we won both of our games. We did really well. I think our game against you really swung a lot. Like it didn't feel like it did at that first turn. It did not feel like we were going to win. Like your Alpha Strike hit us hard,
and
then we made it across the table, and it all went downhill.
Yeah,
because we commenced with the punching.
Yeah,
your guys didn't like that.
No, so Katachan and Admech, I don't think it's the right combo.
Oh, look, Katachan and Admech's not a bad combo, but when you're squaring up against two like marine armies who are climbing down your throat to kick your teeth in and wrestle your uvula, it's gonna be a thing.
It was a thing. It's true.
Especially once my aggressors got in the middle of the table, sitting in a piece of terrain, being like, "Look upon our armor save, ye mighty
Oh my
despair."
god! Yeah, so the Phobos armor.
They were not going anywhere.
Far out, Phobos armor. I'll tell you where to shove that Phobos armor.
It was the Gravis. It was the Gravis armor on the aggressors, but they were in cover.
Yes, las guns
and they had
cover.
They were just getting to stand there and double shoot everything.
So yes. So first round, Steve defeated Adam Alec 4-2. You and Nathan defeated me and Rob 8-4. Oh, okay. So then you Did you play? Yeah, you played Adam and Alec next.
Played Orcs and Blood Angels. Yeah.
Pretty close game. Looking at the score there.
Yeah, super close. It was a mere, 26-4 or something?
23-4.
23-4. I know it's hard. You lose track.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it was kill. It was kill points.
Yeah.
So we were just like cranking, just chomp, 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 chomp.
Nice.
And we didn't lose much.
No, well, I learnt some stuff. That's the first tournament style I've organised, and I've learnt a lot, which we'll talk about after the ad break. In the meantime, quick ladder update on the slow grow. Put him on the spot. Yeah!
Where are we? Here we go.
The update is watering the ladder and hoping the sun comes out.
Yeah. So if I go off the points from
That's all that counts.
without like just the game points, it actually puts you at the top, Greg, and then Steve Parker, and then we got Michael, who's only won one game.
One win.
It's a weird system.
Anto, and then we've got Adam in rounding out in 5th.
But actual
it gets
wins.
Weirder. So actual wins, we've got Steve Parker at the top with 5 wins. We got Matt Stevenson 4 wins.
Jeff
Anto with 4 wins. You and me are equal on 3 wins, and Nathan as well.
Oh, Nathan's got. What is Nathan building? I forgot.
Space Wolves.
He was using his Slogo army in the 2-up tourney.
Yep.
So yeah. I mean, we've still got 2 games to play. Some of which I think are happening on the weekend and surrounds.
But what about the full points?
Well, they're not good. They're not good. The full points. All right. So Greg is still number 1 with the full points with the hobby, followed by Michael.
So I'm nipping there. Games.
Parker, followed by me.
Hobby night.
I don't know how the heck I'm in 5th when I even had the buy penalty on one of my games. So how the heck I'm up there?
It is a weird system which we'll talk about very soon.
Yeah. There will be much ranting.
I just love that I'm contesting for first and the wooden spoon.
It's an effort in itself.
Yeah, it's a weird world.
All right, cool. We'll have a quick break and then we'll get into the do's and don'ts of disorganized events. Need your board game fix? What about a new family game to entertain the kids? Head over to Rollers Board Games at rollersboardgames.com and look them up on Facebook. Board games, card games, party games, you name it, we've got it. And if we don't, we'll do our best to get it. Rollers Board Games. Like what you're hearing? So do we.
You scream out in the night.
Who is this, you say?
You speak so silently.
Storyboard Concept. Want to hear more?
Anytime that you want.
Go to storyboardconcept.bandcamp.com. And we are back, and as soon as we got back, Michael's camera dropped out. Yeah!
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Fantastic. How did I fix it last time? That's right. I left the conversation. So, damn it. Oh, no, you're back. So don't touch your dial. Do not move. Welcome back. Yeah. So I did mention earlier that we are going to get some more images and some more artwork from Sam from Rollers Board Games. So we really appreciate that when he comes and get those done. We're good because we'll get more graphics for our battle reports for our YouTube channel, basically, which we need to pick up because it's been a bit slack. So it will be good, and that will happen when he feels like it. So go to visit the site because he will send you stuff when he feels like it. No, that's not right. It is good. We had a game night the other night. It was very good. Thank you for.
Yeah, I was cut that I keep missing these games. Like, they sound really cool.
I got another one in about 6 weeks. Did I not send you the information?
No, I think you did, and I was looking at it going, I don't know if I can go to that. But they look really interesting. It looks like you get to play a wide variety of really interesting board games.
Yeah. We're going to try and do it every 6 weeks. And at least one new game. I got to say, we lost. There was a few beverages from our sponsors drunk. And then the last game of the night was Cards Against Humanity, and there were people in tears. My hand was up.
In a good way?
Oh, my God. Oh, I haven't laughed that hard for a very long time. Even the sober person had lost it. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We are here to discuss this monthly's topic: do's and don'ts of disorganized events. How's that?
So where do we start?
Okay, so the reason this came up is because we're going through a slow grow at the moment. And we got these weird scenarios, and you've just heard the latter variations of people who are winning games are on top and at the bottom at the same time. So it's a bit weird. We're also at a point that we don't get to play everyone in the competition, so it was raised whether we wanted to extend to December to fix that. And most people said, no, God, no, please, no.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
We also had the two-up tourney, which was interesting results on the day, and learnt some stuff from that for the do's and don'ts. And then there's other players we've had. We've had other competitions internally as well. Please remember, we are a friendly competitive. We don't play competitive. We don't have any sheep stations. We lost them years ago. Yeah. So when we talk about tournaments and events, it is for fun.
Local events.
These
Thank you. Local events for local people.
Oh, I can't get much more local than me, mate. Yeah. So that's where it's come from. And I believe, Michael's, you've played other competitions before. It would have been good to have Liam or Steve, the other Steve on, because they've played a few events too. Should have reached out to Grizzly Bear, who started in our group and then got the competitive bug, and we haven't seen him since.
Yeah, ITC is a powerful lure.
But even ITC, I mean, I had a great chat with Matt from our local Warhammer store about competitions and events as well, and he's got a good topic. No, please, someone else talk.
He has a good opinion. Attitude?
You take that back. No, he does. He has a good opinion on what he thinks.
I'm sure he has at least some good opinions.
Yeah, and Matt's good.
It's okay,
and
Matt.
even
Love
the
you,
latest
Matt.
White Dwarf, the man himself, Jarvis Johnson, has a couple of opinions on how to run events as well. So it's kind of interesting. So, Mark, would you like to start your rant? Opinion?
My rant. So, slow grow. I guess don't try to make there be a prize for everything. The slow grow seems because we've just copied and pasted from our good friends at Jolt there from their slow grow.
Is that where it came from?
And it was literally where our rules came from.
Yeah, it was literally, and I didn't
fault.
find this out.
Lewis! It's Lewis's fault.
So, well, see, they had theirs, and they were in the and the copy that we got was one that hadn't been play tested or anything like that.
Guinea pig!
I've said that several times that it feels like a set of rules that haven't been playtested.
So we got to, I think it was round 4, and I had the mission sheet printed out, and one of the staff members walked up to me and said, "Oh, hey, you're playing our slow grow," and I've gone, "Yes, apparently so." And then he proceeded to give me all these pointers about how to tweak some of the missions and stuff like that. So a lot of the scenarios weren't very play tested. There was a lot of sort of ambiguous rules and things like that. So I guess my biggest tip is be very clear about how you want things to be and what the spirit of something is supposed to be.
Those
because there's a lot of those like there'll be a cool little like victory point condition, but then there's no specifics around whether it's supposed to happen once or whether it happens every time you do it and things like that. The other thing was that as I said, our points are all over the place. So I mean, I'm having to record who won the actual battle, and then recording points that don't reflect a winner. So when you're tabled, in a lot of cases, you make more points than the person who won the game.
Well, that's exactly right. You told me that you said that I was on top of the points ladder. I've been tabled twice.
Yeah,
that's why.
I've been tabled like 3 or 4 times, man.
Oh well.
Yeah.
La-di-da.
And I'm second.
and that's exactly right. And the other thing is that we've got points tied to social events and things like that. Now, it's like I like the idea of encouraging, social hobby nights and stuff like that. I mean, I like getting on Skype and, we were on last night, just talking rubbish and getting some models done. But there are a lot of people who have a hard time making it to that kind of thing. I understand life commitments and all of that kind of stuff. And we tried to alleviate that by cycling through which day of the week they all happened, because I think originally when Liam first did it, it was Wednesday every month.
Wednesdays, which is both good and bad.
You got a set day, but
it's
if
really
you can't
good
make
if
it
you're
once,
free
you're
on
not gonna
Wednesday.
make it ever.
It's
but
good
I'm never
because
free
it
on
makes
Wednesday.
it's good in that the day is more predictable and people can move things around it. So that is a disadvantage of cycling it. It's harder to make sure the day's free. But the disadvantage of it being specific is that if you just can't do that day because of like a work schedule or whatever, then you just can't do it. So there's pros and cons to both sides.
Yeah, and so we tried to sort of spread it out so that a wider percentage of people could at least attend one. But that said, there are guys out there that just have no interest in doing that. They do the hobby to get away from people, and they sit in their basement and they're quite happy to paint minis all day or whatever.
Garage, thank you, not basement.
Well, your hobby space. I mean, I'm on the second floor, for crying out loud. I'm the furthest from a basement you could get. But yeah, so we do have that issue where people showing up to events is tied to some of the points rather than just their actual game performance. And yeah, as I said, it just makes it a nightmare for collecting stats, because I have to record the points, the victory points that people have, and then there's all these bonus points for turning up, bonus points for being tabled, bonus points for bonus points, bonus points
for killing your warlord, killing their warlord with your warlord, bonus points for one of your units being killed by one of your other units. Explosions and perils, and there's, as I said, the complication there, and then
And then there's also a
percentage.
thing where you rate your game,
Yeah, that
which
was
is completely
the worst.
subjective,
Yeah.
and everyone forgets it. So you have to sit there and do it. And you've always got that one guy who hates every game just so that the other person doesn't get any points or anything like that. And then you get the other guy who loves every game
Yeah.
so that there's bonus points for everyone. And
I just assumed no one's given anyone bonus points. I hadn't noticed that happening.
We
I guess
had-
they've down probably.
I had subtly killed the idea
Yeah.
by stopping asking
Yeah, and I
people,
wasn't giving
and
it
everyone
to you
just forgot about it.
No, I wasn't giving it to you because I thought, no, any grey area in a tournament should never be there. So
And-
when
and-
you're thinking,
and
that's-
if you got a sore loser, they're never going to give you full points. And we had an incident the first round. We had one person penalise the other person because they didn't like how it was played. And we know the person... Last year's winner of the Thumbs Up Award, most team... What was the one? What did Anthony win last year?
Sportsmanship award.
Sportsmanship Award. He got penalised for unsportsmanship.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember this, but
No, it was the first round.
yeah.
It was the very first round. The very first round. Yeah.
okay.
Felt that
I-
Anthony was not playing to his army. This is Anthony, the guy who won the Sportsmanship Award, a landslide Sportsmanship Award.
yeah.
So it's that, yeah. Anything like that, if it's subjective, get rid of it.
yeah.
There's,
like-
look, I can understand there being a place for sportsmanship in a tournament
Yeah.
because there is a point for those systems, and that point is basically to flush out dickheads.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I don't have an
That's
issue
the
with that.
point of those
Yeah,
systems.
but when the
But,
dickhead
yeah,
is
I agree
penalising
with
the
you.
sportsman.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, now you know who the dickheads are.
Well, I know the
See,
person.
It's where it
I mean,
comes
it's-
in. I'm
No.
not suggesting that the person is a dickhead, but it's
No,
like
that's it.
you know, as a general
I just want to make
rule-
that clear. The person who did that, he's not a dickhead. He
Yeah,
plays the
that's what I'm
game
saying.
very one way, and when I play
Yeah.
against that person, I know what to expect because I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, and if I play a different person, so Adam, for example, you know it's going to be totally opposite because he just doesn't give a shit.
But yeah, it's like, you know, a lot of the time systems like that are so that you can identify if there are players who stick out as, you know, being anomalies within the system. It's
Yeah.
like, is a player giving every single opponent, you know, 0 points? And you're like, well, clearly we should ignore their results because they're biased. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the time, that's what people end up doing with those kind of systems.
Yeah,
see,
Like, you look for outliers.
See, the problem that I had was, like, and this will tie into another element is, you know, like be committed to your tournament.
oh god,
Yeah.
And that was one of the problems that we had with the slow grow is that, you know, we were letting Liam organise it all, and then he had to pull out. And because he was time poor, and I don't blame him for any of that.
life gets in the way.
Life
That's exactly right. The thing is
Fuck
that
life.
when you come in and it's gone for 2 rounds and nobody's recorded any results and no one's sort of it's basically been just sort of shambling along under its own momentum. It really creates a lot of hassle and everything like that, particularly when you have these ratings things. Because as I said, I had to prompt every player to say something, and there'd be times where someone wouldn't check Facebook for weeks or whatever, and you wouldn't have the opportunity to do it, and then they'd be like, "Oh shit, that was a month ago. I can't remember."
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was saying at the start, you know, just assume they give the middle rating unless they say otherwise.
Yeah,
Well, and that's
No bonus
and
points
that's
unless they
why I
say
stopped asking.
Yeah.
I just nixed the idea. I'm not giving anyone bonuses or penalties as well.
yeah. I think
You know,
the other
based
part
on that.
with events is when we first started, when ROG first started, we had our monthly event, basically just monthly, one day on that month we get together and we play. We then expanded to a weekend, and then we expanded to get your game in that week. If you're doing a tournament like a slow grow, I really do think you need to commit to a specific time frame? Because you're still waiting for results for September, aren't you?
Yeah.
October is about to start.
Yes.
You don't have... If you can't commit to it, then it's a forfeit. I'm sorry, yes, life gets in the way and it's not your fault. But it needs to... You can't penalise another person or penalise the tournament organiser going, oh, for crying out loud, come on, just get me a result. Again, this goes back to the commit. And I get that life gets in the way, but, again, we're not playing sheep stations. If you can't play, you can't play.
Yeah, another problem we've had is I don't even think the system that we're using has a forfeit system.
No.
Like, do you just get... Because it penalises your opponent as well if you can't play. Like...
Yeah, and that's exactly right. So, I mean, when Liam pulled out, he also forfeited his game. So I took the basically a bye penalty, the same as all the other people who took buys.
Yeah, we had two people pull out
as a result of that.
Yeah.
See, the other thing that you have is the chopping and changing players.
Yeah.
Like having a certain number of players, and then after round 2, 3 or 4 of them have dropped out.
Yeah.
Really makes it very much harder because you have to completely redo the draw.
Yeah.
You have to I must have to fix the draw from people pulling out, fix up all the results from people's things.
Yeah.
I spent an entire weekend in spreadsheet hell. So this is a thing about being a tournament player.
Yeah.
If you don't think that you can get to all of your matches, I would have serious reservations about signing up for a tournament unless you can commit and say, right, I'm gonna barring some crazy emergency or something like that, because turning around and playing one game and then going, oh, this isn't for me, is you're basically being a dick to the organizer at that point.
Yeah.
But more on topic, when you design a tournament, design a fucking forfeit system, because every single tournament will have someone forfeit or buy, and you need to know how that fits into your tournament.
So it's
100%
interesting to
agree.
say this is an unplayed slow grow that we're doing because, as we said at the start, be clear in the rules.
Clarity.
And the special rules.
Be clear about what your rules are. Be clear about what you expect from players. What is the vibe? Is your tournament friendly? Is it competitive? Are people going to show up with fucking ITC lists and just ruin everybody's day?
And
as
an organizer though, one of the things you've got to be prepared for is you're going to have that guy that's always questioning every rule.
Yeah, we do. We have
in a lot of cases, it's more than one.
We have the rule guy, and we have the whatever, mate, guy. We have everything between. It's going to be always hard to fact that, but clear.
And the clearer the idea of how you want a specific scenario to play, the better you're going to handle all of those questions. Because, as I said, someone's going to be like, "Oh, does this rule affect deep strike units?"
Yeah.
Does this, and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not easy. You've got to think about the special rules that come into play.
Does this morale rule affect vehicles?
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Or the frozen one.
Exactly right.
If my vehicle turns, that counts as moving, right?
If I get stuck in close combat, now I can't move in my movement phase. Do I auto die because I'm in close combat?
So there's a couple of examples. I had another good one. It was great. Oh, if it's a slow grow, be clear at the start.
Is it a slow grow or an escalation league?
That's right. My understanding when we did a slow grow is you build your 250 points, then you build another 250 on top of your original, and that's it. Apparently that's called an escalation. I'm going,
no, it's not. It's called a slow grow.
It's called a slow grow.
Everyone else who uses the other system, I've heard, has called it an escalation league. Because an escalation is the games get bigger.
Yeah.
A slow grow is the army gets bigger.
Yeah.
That's
so
the way I've always heard it. But some people on the internet use the two words completely interchangeably.
Yeah, slow grow
And
to
some
me
people
is
use
I
them to mean
build.
the
Here's my
opposite.
core. I add another top. That's why I had 2,000 point army built in and I got it. All right, I need to get this next. I need to get this next. I need to get this next.
You need to be clear about the army construction guidelines.
Yeah,
How is the army for the tournament
you've
composed?
got to be clear.
Are people rolling for their warlord traits? Are people selecting warlord traits? Are people rolling randomly for psychic powers? These are all things the rules say have multiple answers. You need to tell people how your tournament runs.
And at the start, and
Yeah, at the
at
start
the
of the tournament.
Yeah, Mark, you've done great since you've got handed basically here. Liam had to leave.
Yeah, these are not
Go for
criticisms of you.
No, it's not criticism
This
of
is
Liam
in general.
either. This is the
Well,
we got
yeah.
handed this by an untested, which is fine. We
Yeah.
tested it. We'll give our feedback. Lewis, hope you're listening. On the but
yeah,
I also
like-
think if you're going to play a tournament,
So-
you should play everyone once.
So, and as I said, I mean, I ended up spending an entire weekend spreadsheet helling to try to bring some semblance of order. One thing that I would suggest to people running a tournament is communication is key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that ever since taking over that I have always managed to do is whenever I see people posting results, I pop on there and I'll say this has been recorded and it's been put in there so that people don't think they're just sort of screaming into the wind, that there's actually stuff going on. And when I'm posting the events, I make sure the mission sheet is up there because the guys may or may not have it. Things like the end of round results and things like that. I always make sure that I've got sort of a steady, regimented kind of reliable communication stream that people can look at and see, because if you're not communicating to your players, they're like, well, what the heck am I even doing? Is anything happening? Like,
Am I in the top? Am I at the bottom? Or in both? Michael.
That's exactly right. So
it is. It's a TO clarity, communication, but also if you're a player, don't be a dick about it. Be upfront from the start. If you've got questions, ask before it starts, not week 4.
Yeah, it's like another thing that people need to do when they're writing rules, show them to people.
Yeah.
Let people read them before it starts and say, can you see any problems?
Yeah. So I'm going to use that.
Get eyes. Get more eyes.
I'm going to
on
use that
your
as a
system.
segue into the two-up tourney.
In this instance, we actually did show off the rules.
Yeah.
In this instance, and they all seemed okay at first glance.
Yeah, it was when you were putting them in and actually using them. Like, that's where the playtesting comes in.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. And so, I mean, it wasn't that we didn't do our due diligence on the rules and stuff. It's just that we wound up with some scenarios that were very ambiguous as it happened to turn out.
Yeah.
Well, I think some of it was the problem we had, like with a slow grow versus escalation league. A lot of us looked at the scenario and went, oh yeah, I can see how they mean for that to run.
Yeah.
And just kind of went with it. And it wasn't until the people who
read the rules to the limit.
Well, no, what it says is what it says.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but that's obviously not what it means. It's like, yeah, but it says what it says. And you're like, well, fuck, yeah, you're right, it does.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you got to account for different people.
You need to get different types of people in there to get their opinions as well.
Yeah.
But it's the clarity thing. Like, that's another thing about this system that I have found is really weird, and probably one of the biggest problems we have in terms of the league for the ladder for it is your points during the game are your points you get for the league, which I've never done that before in a tournament ever.
And that's
and it's fucking us over.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the reasons why I'm now collecting 3 sort of sets of stats, with hobby progress, without hobby progress, and game wins and stuff like that. And that's just so that I can say, right, a person who's winning all their games deserves some recognition as far as that is concerned. Because if you come in and you're winning, 5 out of 6 games, and then you're third on the ladder to somebody who's who's won one game,
Hi.
you're
Yeah,
like,
like if you like look at the 2-up tourney. If we were doing that by points scored,
Oh my god.
I'd be
You'd
untouchable
be done.
now.
Yeah.
Like
23
I'd have
to
won
4. Yeah.
without the rest of the games played.
No.
Because of that fucking 23-4
Yeah.
that I got. It's just crazy.
I'd like to go to the 2-up tourney because I'm sick of Mark's voice. I try to put all the rules up. It's the first time I try to organise a proper tournament as opposed to just the ladder command and stuff like that. I try to throw up the rules so everyone can see them right at the front, right at the start. I had questions, try to answer them straight away before the event started. There had to be some changes when it sort of come through, sort of going, because victory points, as you said, victory points shouldn't play a part in the ladder.
Yeah.
Unless it's a draw between how many wins and loss. That's in my head.
Points for and against is the way football works.
Yeah, exactly. Points for and against. It's not you get how many wins, and if there's 2 people on 15 wins, well, let's go points for and against then to try and to separate it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So I try to make it that. At the same time, if you're going to play a 2-person tournament per side, 3 hours won't do it per game.
Yeah, 2 people working together is hard.
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel
You've
like
gotta
Nathan
be
and I did
realistic in
well
your
in
time
terms
frame.
of working together, but we're used to working together.
Yeah.
Most
And,
people aren't.
and you said I was pushing Rob hard. Fortunately, he still loves me. I was pushing him hard to do it. But then we had other players where Steve wouldn't allow Steve, sounds normal, to do anything for him.
For his guys,
Yeah.
yeah. And if you're playing a multiplayer game, you need to be able to.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
going to look after the right-hand side of the table while this is... Yeah.
If both of your opponents want to shoot the same players' models, you can't do both at the same time unless both players are engaged.
Yeah.
And that's where you need to trust the people you're with and be used to working together.
Yeah. So I learnt that, from that I've learnt 3 hours is not enough for a 2-person game. 2,000 point game solo for a person who knows their army, that can work. 2,000 points, 2 people,
I think
1
you're
person
pushing
doesn't
it
know
with
their army.
3 hours on a 2,000 point game.
It was always going to be tight, and then there were
Yeah. Well, and so I tried to be upfront as possible with the rules. I put them out a week before so everyone can see what's going on. I used the rule books. Right? I still had questions about it, but I try to make it. I noticed that some victory points would not allow. Here's a game that gives you no victory points, and here's a match that will give you lots of victory points. But oh shit! Well, I can't do that if victory points will determine a tie. So I had to balance that out.
Yeah.
You have to look at what your scenarios are setting up. If you're a TO, you have to look at that. You need to be upfront about if you're an experienced player or a novice player. Rob, my teammate, is still a novice player where I'm not. Not a good balance. I thought I might be able to push him, moving quicker, but it just became just roll the fucking dice more than you could do this.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, what was it? Adam and Evan, was it? Alec.
Yeah.
They were Adam was kind of telling Alec how to play because he didn't know the rules very well, and that can work.
Yeah.
It's just not fast.
It can work if it wasn't a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, if I do it again, I would like, me, I like to organise competitiveness between us group. I like to do it again, but either it's a single player or a 1 game, 1 day event. Not 2 games, 1 day event.
Because I really wanted to do the that tag team tournament, but I just couldn't get a partner. And then when the dates moved, it just was just like, nah, can't get there. Yeah, so,
you do need to have belief in your partner that they know their army, or they can help. And they can help you with yours when you need it, even if it's just witnessing the dice rolls of the other player. That's all it needs. Make that moving quicker. Time clocks. Do you do time clocks? That was the other part. Do we do time clocks? It was a yay and an A in the mixture. If it's a timed event, how do you
I don't-
stop people from
I don't like
taking
the
too
idea
long?
of timed clocks, but I mean, the answer is that people get punished by not having their results recorded if they don't match the time.
We had an
That's usually
incomplete
how it
result.
goes.
It was 4-3
Yeah.
at the end of turn 3, and I think we could have been quite competitive towards the end, but at the moment it's counted as incomplete.
Mm.
And it wasn't because someone was deliberately slow. Because
The game just took time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's also been one of the things where I've floated to people, hey, if we're going to do some of these bigger games and stuff like that, or more intricate ideas,
Yeah.
that it might be better that we pick someone's house so that we're not so that we don't have
True.
that time pressure of
Venue makes a point.
get the hell out of Jolt.
Venue's a big point, yeah. If we were on a time frame because it was a 3-hour game per game because the opening hours where we were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it very good point. We will invade your house next, Mark.
I've got to get some game mats.
But yeah, like so many of the guidelines around what to do and what not to do with a tournament really come down to clarity. They're clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you've really got to
Be
have an
prepared.
idea.
Be prepared. Be a
as said,
scout. That's right. Not the
with
fucking
the
Primera scout.
scenarios, you really got to have a vibe that you want for each game, because you're going to like no one can account for every question that anyone is going to ask. So what you need to have is a clear direction in how you want an encounter to feel, so that when that left field question comes in, you go, oh, well, it's obviously going to be this because
Okay. Yeah.
We'll
Right.
rule it this way because it goes with the intention of the scenario.
So
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. We're playing on a frozen wasteland or whatever, and if you're stabbing someone in the chest, you're not going to freeze to death because you're moving,
All right. So
When I brought it up, that was Nathan's counter argument. He was like, "You've fought in close combat. You know how hot it gets. They will not freeze to death." And I'm like,
That's
"Yeah,
it.
but that's what the rule says, man."
well, our argument was you can't shoot into combat because it's counted as they're moving amongst themselves and fighting
Yeah.
like that. Therefore, they are moving.
Yeah.
That was our theory.
Yeah, you.
But yeah, that's that clarity. So let's talk about stuff that does work. Like the Games Workshop, Warhammer tournaments. We're all excited about Psychic Awakening, aren't we? The global campaigns.
I'd be more excited if there was more substance.
But we don't know much yet. It sounds like a
'Cause,
new
yeah.
god coming.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
That's what I will say as well. I am cautiously optimistic. I would like to be more excited than I am.
Okay.
But-
So let's go back to the previous global event that they had. That was fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot
It
of
was
fun with that.
interesting.
Yeah, I really enjoyed global events. I think they do it right. It's just a simple play, record results, who win, who lost, like that. Win, who lost, and simple.
Who won?
Who
Who's
won?
next?
Who's dead? And it turns out the result of the whole environment. I love that narrative campaign sort of stuff. If
Yeah.
you're going to do it, which I would like to do next year, by the way, boys. You've been warned. A narrative campaign.
I strongly
But I'm making
support the
Michael
idea.
organise
It's
I was
just
going to say,
gonna.
you should ask Andrew Hollis about running a narrative campaign. Dono, who does all the 30k stuff, he's
Okay.
been running years and years of narrative
That
campaigns.
sounds like
maps,
you
all
know
kinds of
everything
cool stuff.
now. Thanks, Michael. for
I
doing
don't know anything. I'm basically like a corpse. I am the corpse emperor upon my
Alright, so
my
I had
rainbow light chair.
I had a good conversation with Matt at Warhammer, as I said today, to give some ideas. He was talking about tournaments and stuff and the slow growth they run at the store. And I said, oh yeah, we're actually talking about, our podcast tonight is about events, organised events, the do's and don'ts. And he goes, oh, brilliant! You should know this! Oh, you want to know? Okay. So,
We thought that's what the lead up was for.
I just wanted to build suspense. Come on. They've learnt that if you're going to do, especially if it's slow grow, 3 months tops. Do not do any longer than that. People will lose interest. And as we said, do you want to extend it for another month? No! God, no! No!
I've got to say, it follows through with like every all of the stuff I've done, like all the Necromunda campaigns. People always drop after about 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
Like
the enthusiasm is
it's solid advice.
Yeah.
It's much easier to get people involved in a short, sharp, more intense thing than an entire year of slow grow.
Yeah. I think 3 months makes sense because I know that after this tournament, our slow grow, I don't know if I'll play witches again. I really don't. I'm hanging out to bring out my death card again, or my salamanders when they bring out the new codex supplement.
I guess that comes down to how much you like your chosen slow grow army in the end.
True.
That is a big problem with slow grow. It's like, do you know if you like the army before you start? Because if you get into it and it comes down to that commitment thing. You have that horrible, I'm committed to this thing and it's going for so long, but I hate this fucking army. Like, and then you've got to keep buying models for the army you hate.
Well, that's it.
If you get yourself stuck, actually in the White Dwarf there was they've been doing one of those Tale of Gamers things, and in that, like, there's several things in, and one of the players was like, I decided I need to change army. I just need to. And so they let them do it. It wasn't that one, actually. It was the one before that, I think. But yeah, in the Tale of Four Gamers, he's talking about how they let him just swap army. He was from Orcs to Death Guard because he just couldn't do Orcs anymore. So are you going to let players do that? Because if you do, some players will get very bloody annoyed that you're letting other people swap horses midstream. To mix my metaphors, but if you don't do that, people will drop out. Yeah, because they will get sick of their army and they will drop out.
Yeah, well, originally our slow grow was I was going to do Harlequins. That was my whole choice.
Yeah.
But again, oh my god, I've got to get 2,000 points for Harlequins. They're all the freaking same units. Oh,
they're all the same units, and that's painting so many checks and straps.
It just
all of the
wasn't
funky Harlequin stuff.
So 3 months. Here's the other part they say. 2,000 points is not a standard battle. Even Jarvis Johnson, the creator of everything, the Lord of Almighty, says, no,
Jarvis
it's
is
not.
cool, but he's not infallible.
It was never meant to be 2,000 points. It was meant to be the standard battle for every battle you play. They think smaller is better. You get your 1,000 points plus some specialists. That's the game design. That's from Games Workshop, boys and girls. Don't look at me. Don't blame me. Blame the guy. That one. Yeah, guys, people can't see what I'm pointing at, so it's awesome. Matt was saying he's the most successful slow grow they've had at Warhammer was 1350 slow grow.
I can sort of see that.
That's because your core with a couple of specialists.
If you're doing a short slow grow, you can't have a big one.
Oh yeah, this is
because you can't say it's 3 months. That's 500 points a month. Fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, GW will,
especially out of a store where you're going to have a lot of new people coming into the hobby, expecting them to paint 500 points worth of shit a month. Nah.
I can't even get what the 250 done. Jesus Christ. So 1350 they're recommending that is a good size army because you can get your core, which is your 3 troops and a couple of elites and stuff, but then you specialize that extra 350 points. So 1,000 points is your core. Which, looking at my army, that makes sense. I got about 1,000 points core. I lie. I got more.
I've actually struggled to meet the points. I have never gone into a single round of the slow grow and been over points ever.
I could have been over points.
The only time I can't think of a single game where I haven't maxed out all my options just to try and get within 100 points of the target.
But then again, as I was saying at the start of the slow grow, I started this because I had a giant pile of unbuilt cultists. So I've got more, as many as I've painted over again, sitting there undercoated grey that I'm probably, arguably going to try and do after the slow grow, but probably won't.
Yeah. So Rules of Engagement by Jarvis Johnson. The latest White Dwarf. Better get money from this Warhammer for advertising. He does talk about that. If you listen to their podcast, they're not so good with their PC words. They absolutely say 2,000 points is not the fucking point, people.
Well, they can say that, but I've been in the hobby reading all this shit for over a quarter of a century, and I disagree that is what they have said.
2,000 points has always been in my head. That's what I build a 2,000 point army. If I go further than that, great. But 2,000 points is a minimum. Look at
the last 30 years of White Dwarves. Bloody, it's all 2,000 point armies.
Yeah.
Jarvis can say what he wants, mate. He
can say what he wants.
He can say what he wants.
He's earned the right.
Yes.
But if you're going to do a tournament, mate, if you're going to do a time tournament, if you're going to do a special day, one only, get the points right. Make sure it's battle. It's one thing I didn't put in the 2-up tourney. It must be battle forged.
Oh, didn't you put that in there?
No. Oh, maybe I did later. I think I did later because I knew our rule person would harp on that for me.
Yeah, I just assumed it was in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do any points value you want. I guess he's right there in, focusing on a point as if it's some kind of holy grail is the wrong way to do it.
Yeah. Enjoy you've got to, if you're going to be TO, enjoy it. If you're going to be part of it, enjoy it. Don't make it a job. If it's a job, don't do it.
If it's a job, get paid for it or don't do it.
So do's and don'ts are pretty simple, aren't they? Clarity from the start.
Clarity.
Put your information out well before it starts so any questions can be answered. If you
get ahead of yourself.
Get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Record all your results properly.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And if you're a player, post your bloody results. Don't make the TO have to chase you for your results.
Yeah.
You know what? I found a lot of if you're doing a tournament where everyone's there on the same day and they're all going to be knocking it out, just a little slip where they just tick, did you get this objective? Yes. So they can kind of, to make it easier for them to fill it out in a consistent way, and they just would go around and drop one of those in the middle of each table, and the players fill that out, and they collect them all.
Yeah. Make it simple for the players. Absolutely. So there's none of that grey area. It's none of that, what do we do now? Yeah. If the sun's there, do I need to shoot because I'm that 1 millimeter closer to him? Even though the sun's not actually behind him? Do I get an extra point
if a second unit gets killed by the sun?
Yeah. You got to be clear with your rules. If you're not sure, ask.
Yeah, ask someone else. Preferably ask someone who has a different attitude to the rules to what you have.
Yeah.
Because, if you ask me and Greg, we might give you the same answer. But if you ask a
Steve
rules
or Adam, there'd be different answers together.
Yeah.
See, the other thing is to discuss it among the group because you're all going to have that different point of view, and when someone with a different point of view raises something, then you might change your point of view.
Yeah.
In response.
Yeah. So
and you've got to be sort of willing to compromise a little.
Well, it's like how the different methods of army. Yep.
Yep. If you're a TO, should you be in the competition itself?
Generally speaking, no.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got the grey areas. Did you like this person?
Well, to be fair, being the tournament organizer and being a player in the tournament hasn't done me any favours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially in your position, because you weren't the tournament organizer.
Not originally, no.
But I mean, usually you want to not be in it so that, you have less of a perception of favoritism, especially if you're the kind of person who might win it.
Yes. Yes, if you're
Like-
going to be a TO, step back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing you want to do is win your own tournament. Everyone fucking looks at you.
I want everyone looking at me.
Oh yeah, I that rule was in right from the very start.
Yeah.
I can't help it, guys. I'm just better than everyone.
I can't help if everyone's crap. Come on.
Well, it's like I would love to run a Necromunda campaign, but I've won like the last 3 I was in. And I'm like,
Here's 100
I wanna
bonus
run
victory
one.
points if your name is Mark.
There's 2 of them. Yeah. Okay. What you were going to say something, Michael, before I rudely interrupted. I never rudely interrupt.
no, I was going to say, for example, the army construction thing where we had different perceptions of how you build
Oh.
armies for the slow crew.
Yeah.
That didn't come up until one of us mentioned, I feel like some other people keep changing their lists.
That was me.
And other people were like, yeah, why wouldn't we be able to change our list?
Yeah.
And then we were both like, because that's not how slow grows work.
Yeah. I did. 'Cause I remember I saw a picture of someone played the previous month. Went, okay, that gives me an idea what I need to play against. And then it turned up. Went, your arm is completely different. Hang on.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
I
Clarity.
guess that comes down to when you're letting people in who either already who already have the army, or are prepared to buy like 5,000 points of whatever and smash them out.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. Yeah. You got to be realistic. A 12-month slow grow campaign is an expensive campaign, no matter what army you choose. That's a big ask for everyone to participate in. Especially our last month is actually, instead of the normal 250, it's 500 points.
Yeah.
I can speak for myself. I'm not going to have the full 2,000 painted by the end.
Oh man, I don't have the full. What are we up to? 1250 at the moment.
Do you need to borrow some Tyranids?
I kind of actually do, because I
have a
still
lot of
cannot get
Tyranids.
Hive Guard.
It's
I don't actually have any Hive Guard, unfortunately.
I actually
I have a
feel
lot of
like
Carnifexes and Gene Stealers and Tyranid Warriors and a Scythed Hierodual.
yeah.
They only exist with scalpers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm
Well,
trying
I
to
was
get
telling you my
something.
story about the Basilisk. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
They
I'm
were
trying
just
to
out
get
of-
a
they were
Haywire
just-
blaster, and they want to get $16 for it. And I went, but it's one gun.
yeah.
No.
I once paid like $10 a pop to buy like a half dozen combi weapons.
Yeah.
Like, some
It's
models
hard.
are just hard to get the bits.
Yeah. But you got to be clear in your campaign too. Is it WYSIWYG or is it? I'll just tell my opponent what they have.
Yep.
Well, I feel like every tournament is WYSIWYG
It
unless
should
they
be
specifically
WYSIWYG.
say it's not. Like, letting people come in out of WYSIWYG is not a good idea.
No, it needs to be WYSIWYG. Absolutely. If you say, but I don't want them to have a heavy weapon this time, we'll magnetize the model. Yeah.
Take a different unit.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't have your opponent going, oh, did he say he's got a plasma gun or
Yeah.
a heavy bolter?
You know why? It violates the first 3 rules of tournaments. Clarity, clarity, clarity.
And the 4th one, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's harsh. Well, we had, took too serious because he played that, but that was the tournament. We have been going for a while. We want to add more? The do's, apart from just clarity. Playtest.
Yeah, playtest things, talk
Yeah.
about things, communicate.
Assuming that you have a circle of friends that you play your games with, talk to them, test it with them. Right. The 2-up tourney was my test to see if it would work and stuff like that. Clearly, it needs changes to it for me.
I actually to be honest, my experience of the tournament has been incredibly positive. I thought you've done a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you.
So I've apparently missed any problems you had.
No,
with this.
the only
I felt it worked out pretty well.
The only part is the time limits. That's the only bit I have an issue with.
A thing that I really liked is that the fucking scenarios are consistent, and that you had us playing on consistent tables where the terrain was pre-set up.
Yeah.
So that people were not setting up the terrain before each game.
Yeah.
In a tournament, that's a really important thing. You want your people to have consistent terrain on their tables.
There you go. A dues. That was one of the things I thought. We're going to have a central piece, and then it's going to be a city or a forest. But when you move tables, the scenery does not move. So everyone gets to experience the same thing and same objective, because there's a key piece that does not move.
Exactly. If you go to a big one like CanCon, there will be just rows of pre-set up tables. And that setup doesn't change.
Yeah.
People just get allocated to tables.
Yeah. I think that's pretty key. Because you move stuff that becomes then, well, he's got an advantage now because that wall is there. But if I...
Yeah. Having terrain that's been set up by someone who's not playing that game is a really helpful thing for a tournament.
Yeah. So, TOs, take note. Oh, and TOs, be aware, it's an unforgiving business. You will have someone complain, even if you had the perfect result.
I guess the other do that I'd maybe go is have a clear scoring system.
Yeah.
Just even if it's, just points for winning the game or whatever, do yourself a favour. Don't record 5 separate stats to give people participation trophies and stuff.
Yeah. Less is more. A simple scoring system.
Yeah.
The more complicated it is, the more of a pain in the ass you're going to have.
Yeah.
You do not need a 4-tab spreadsheet to run a tournament like what I have.
Yeah. And if you're going to run those things with the grey areas, maybe not make it a public vote.
Well,
because I go, Michael, you're a dick. And Mark will see that.
That is a disadvantage of the way we're reporting our scores, because we're reporting them onto a Facebook page where it's all public. Aforementioned little paper slips that people got, when there were sportsmanship components, it was one for each player. You fill out your slip and then you put it on the TO's desk. Your opponent never sees how you rate their sportsmanship.
And that's where TO probably not play that game as well, because that's definitely can be seen as dodgy. Yeah. So if you're going to be a TO, you've got to step back from the game. Sorry, if you're going to be a competitive TO, if it's a friendly, and you can get along with these guys, yes, even Mark and Michael, and they're going to let you play anyway. It's not going to. But then get rid of the grey areas. Then just keep it win-loss. Simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, I do love the idea of grey areas, like composition scores and sportsmanship scores, painting scores. I love those components, but I'm not a super competitive player.
No.
It comes back to that. People will need to know what the vibe is.
Yeah.
So, if people were going to CanCon and there was fucking hobby composition scores and all that other shit, there would be a fucking riot. Whereas I like that the Slow Grow is encouraging people mechanically to get together and socialize. Because to me, the point of this Slow Grow as an event has been to help get the group together more often to play games.
Yes.
And in that context, it's
been
works.
Successful. Yeah.
But not everyone was expecting that context to be the focus.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of problems have come from.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it has worked. As you said before, we have played a lot of games this year, which has been great.
I've played a lot more games than I had last year, and I've played a lot more games with you guys than I have before at all.
Yeah.
It's been really good. On that perspective, it has worked phenomenally well.
Yes.
It's gotten us together to complain about it, bonded.
Make a podcast about it.
Possibly created some new drinking habits.
Someone dies from perils. That's a shot.
Ooh, December
I used to
event.
play Warhammer.
Careful, I've had that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So-
there's a good point. What do you want to get out of the tournament? That's a pretty good
Yeah.
part. Yeah. If you want to bring the social aspect, because I think last year we lost that social aspect because we weren't playing as often. We weren't having a dedicated day to play, which we did the year before. This
Yeah,
time,
I like having the dedicated day to play because
prefer the
even if you're not
dedicated day.
playing, you don't have a game lined up, you can rock in and
Yeah.
Yeah,
and just
you know,
see
you
what
show
people
up
are doing.
and
Yeah, I prefer the dedicated day because then when you and Mark, look, I'm pointing, but podcasters, you can't see that. When Michael and Mark are playing against each other and I'm playing against, say, Rob, we're in the same spot. So, okay, are you getting ass fucked? Yeah, I'm getting ass fucked. Oh, excellent. So is he. Ha ha ha.
Did you bring the lube? I didn't bring any lube. Can I borrow some of yours?
Nah, mine's heated. No,
Down in dry.
It's important. If you're going to have a gaming group, you do need to socialise that gaming group.
Yeah.
Yes, even with Rob. No, that's not very fair.
But one of the things that I find is that when I'm sort of in the heat of a game,
Ooh.
I don't have the chance to sort of step away from the table and just
But you
have
don't
a look
have
at.
to. You don't have to. The choice is there. If I've got a game and if I'm 2-up turning and I've got to wait for Rob to make his move, I can go over and talk to Michael. I could also make a pizza and probably build a house, but that's not the point.
Maybe I need to play more games with him.
Yeah. But it
it's-
was about
there-
we're a group. We've got a fairly sizable number in the RLG group. How often do we actually see each other into a group?
As a big group, basically, we don't.
No, maybe 2 games at a time.
The most of us that have been in one spot has been the 2-up tourney.
2-up tourney or the
Yeah.
end of season drinks.
Which I missed because children.
No, we'll get rid of them.
We'll definitely be organising something like that again for the end of the year. Well, actually, it usually winds up being in January because
It's
Christmas.
hard to
And,
organise in January, December. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Some months are just a shitter.
yeah.
Oh, that's a good point for your TAs. Make sure you got your timing right. Yeah. Don't do December. Just don't.
Yeah. Just do not
Actually-
do December.
Even
In
September.
January's pushing it. September because all those Christmas babies.
Just most months.
Yeah.
Maybe every
TAs,
second month.
Yeah, really important.
Early in
TAs,
the year.
Just don't.
Early in the year is better than later in the year, generally.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of the tempo of games and things, because over September, August, the amount of games that we had that were 2-3 weeks late.
Yeah.
I feel like that's that relates back to the point about the short, sharp 3-month thing.
Yeah.
Like that's not so much late in the year; that's late in the tournament.
Yeah. It's harder to keep that momentum. Yeah.
So
What was Matt was saying? He's got 2 tournaments going. It's a 500 to 13. No, was it 5? Basically 1250, and then another tournament sort of overlaps a bit, which goes up to 2000. So if you wanted to continue from your 1250, you could, but you could also start at 1250 and go on to the 2000 point army.
yeah.
So if you've got an existing force, to break that 3-month cycle. So it's 3 months, not for the full 6 months. So you've got to think about that. Think about the attention span of people who are born. I won't finish that because we probably have some people who want to listen to us still.
I've had several arguments about that kind of stuff in the last week. Old man yells at cloud. The argument.
Well, it's not even just about attention span.
Yeah.
Like the longer you drag it on, the more chance there is for life to intrude.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you tell me here are these 3 months, here are these 3 dates, are they free? it's much easier for me to give a concrete answer
Yeah.
than it is, here are some dates 9 months down the track, will they be free? And I'm like, well, no. You
Yeah.
know, maybe my son has a camp that he needs to go to. Maybe shit will happen down the track.
Yeah.
It's less likely to happen in 3 months.
Yeah. Be realistic. All right, we have been going on for 1 hour and 45 minutes. We should probably wrap it up, considering our normal length is an hour. We
did the same thing last time, didn't we?
We did know this is going to get down to a bit of a rant. That's fine. Fine, Mark. You're welcome.
Burn it with fire.
Clear messages are clarity, test it, be realistic. What else? Talk about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
Communication is key.
Communication. Make it simple. For fuck's sake, make it simple. Don't complicate it, because people will just go, fuck you. About usually 3 months into it. Not the first game.
Yeah.
Because they'll just go, oh yeah, I'm playing a game.
If you need a pivot table, you're doing it wrong.
Man, I loved the pivot table back in 2nd edition. Like when you had the turning markers and the templates and...
No, I meant an Excel pivot table.
Excel pivot.
Oh, pivot table. Oh, okay.
An Excel pivot table. So, if you're going that deep into Excel, your tournament is too complicated.
Yeah, very much.
All right, folks, we will wrap it up. I think you got the message, right? Or we just rambled? It's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark. You like that one? Mark. G'day, Mark. You want to say
Good
bye?
evening, everyone. See you next
And I will
time.
say farewell too, because I want to leave it to the voice who's above me. The voice above me. I hear voices. Oh. Michael, please sign us out.
That's all we have time for this month. Join us next month. Actually, I didn't finish talking about what we talked about. We talked about how to do a tournament correctly. There's a lot of things to talk about, but you should probably keep it simple, you stupid. Join us next month for more Wobbly adventures.